Welcome back to the Tracy Take. Today, Ryan and I, we will be breaking down the Week 14 matchup between Tom Brady and the Buccaneers versus Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. But before we get into that, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to our channel if you have not already. Ryan and I, we have a goal of trying to get to 300 subscribers by the end of the year. It would be a great Christmas gift for Ryan and myself. We've been doing this for almost a year now, and we're loving every step of it. We love to keep creating content for you guys, so we'd appreciate it. Like this video, share this video with your Bills and Buccaneers friends. And Ryan, let's get into this.
Let's do it.
What a crazy game. It seemed almost like the Bucs were about to blow it, and that amazing pass, the record-breaking pass, Brady to Perriman.
700 touchdown.
700 touchdown. Kind of crazy to think about. Eventually, someone's going to get to 1,000. It's going to be kind of surreal. But that's a long way away. Let's talk about the game tonight. What was your overall take on both teams' performances?
Well, the big thing for me that stood out was the Bills' reluctancy to run the football. They did not run any designed run plays in the first half. They did have rushing yards in the first half. However, they were all Josh Allen scrambles. No handoffs to running backs. Not even a designed quarterback draw. Nothing. They tried to do it all through the air, and they let Tampa Bay pile up a 24-3 lead at halftime. And then, to me, I think Tampa Bay got slightly conservative. I think they just were kind of put it in cruise control and will just slide to the finish. Like, yeah, they might score a touchdown or two, but like we'll get down, kick a field goal, do something. And they never really got to that until the fourth quarter when they went up 27-20. But other than that, I think this was actually more of a dominating performance by the Buccaneers. I think they just let off. They just let off the throttle. Tom Brady looked really good. Like you said, through his 700th career touchdown. And the ability for the Buccaneers to run the ball too, paired with this passing attack, is a little ridiculous. So the Bills, who right now I think still have a top 10 run defense in the NFL, probably not after this last few weeks with Jonathan Taylor and then the Patriots and now Leonard Fournette, but they averaged almost 5 yards a carry off of 29 carries and 2 total rushing touchdowns. Granted, one of them was a QB sneak by Brady. So I think the Buccaneers are really hitting their stride, kind of like what they did last year, and I think they're going to close out the season really well. And the Bills are now at 7-6 at the 7 seed in the AFC, and it just leaves them in kind of a weird spot. So my question back to you is kind of, where do you see these teams going forward with the Buccaneers now at 10-3 and the Buffalo Bills at 7-6?
Well, the Buccaneers, I think are. I'll start first because I think it's a little bit more of a simple answer. But I mean, I think they're Super Bowl contenders. Obviously, is as you mentioned, the big thing being how well balanced their offense is. Brady threw for 360 yards, and then Leonard Fournette ran for 113 yards as well. Like on top of that, I mean that's as balance of an offense, I think, as you can ask for. And even if you take the touchdown away, I think Leonard Fournette was still averaging about 4 yards a carry. I mean, imagine that, like 1st and 10. Now you're at 2nd and 6. I mean, that whole offense, like the playbook is open, and if you're the defense, you're just reeling. They have so many weapons that they can throw to. Tom Brady's playing almost better than he ever has. The one thing I think that they'll need to just pay attention on it, and they've been getting better at it throughout the season, but it's just that secondary is just so injury riddled. It's so depleted. I wonder how that's going to play if they play Green Bay in late January, if they play Arizona in late January, or shoot, even Kansas City again, maybe in the Super Bowl. See a rematch, because they still have some offensive firepower, and Kansas City's really been clicking. The Bills, I'm much more worried about the Bills, honestly. I still think they'll make the playoffs thanks to a pretty generous schedule. The rest of the way, 3 of their 4 games are against sub-500 teams, with hosting the Panthers and the Falcons, and I think they're also hosting the Jets as well. But that's who they play. It doesn't matter if they're hosting or if they're at the Jets. Like they'll beat the Jets. Then they have a tough division game against the Patriots in there. But the thing, I mean, and this goes back to what we talked about with the Bills in the preseason, is how they can be one-dimensional. And if you look at it in the first half, they were as one-dimensional as they could be.
Yeah.
Only throwing the ball, only pass plays against a team that you might not want to get into a shootout with. It didn't make sense offensively, and they made the adjustments in the second half. And then when you see in the second half, Devin Singletary's first handoff, I think was it the 29-yard run or was it an 18-yard run? Like they had a huge gain on it, and that opened up the playbook. That opened up the drive. They started going on these long drives. They started scoring more touchdowns. It was much more well-rounded football. I think they had 130 total rushing yards in the second half. Split evenly between Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, and Zach Moss or Matt Breda. Mm-hmm. And so that's what you need in today's game. And I think you even mentioned it is they kept doing the spread offense. And so now it's taking guys out of the box, and they do have a weaker running game. But why don't they do that? Why don't they have a 4-receiver set and then hand it off to Singletary with only 6 guys in the box? It's going to be much easier, and it's also going to keep the defense much more on their toes. I think that's the type of football they need to be playing because then they'll make them more unpredictable. If you know they're going to throw the ball every play, it's going to be much easier, I think, to game plan against.
Yeah. Well, so this was something that the Patriots did. I want to say on their run to win Super Bowl 53 against the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
They were running spread sets with Rob Gronkowski, and the Bills have a huge advantage in having Dawson Knox, who is a good blocker. That they can run spread sets, get the defense in a nickel package, and then bring Dawson Knox in and be able to run with 5.5, almost 6 linemen against a nickel package. Yeah. And Devin Singletary he runs with a really good pad level. Matt Breida is a little bit more of a finesse guy, but still, when you get him out in space, I think he's a very good running back. I just think they are missing half of their offense. And even if their running game is not good, I think that the overall offense would benefit just from consistently running the ball.
What do you mean if they run it? What do you mean by missing half their offense? You mean from injury or just from them?
No. Like they're missing half their playbook from not running the football.
That makes sense.
And I also think too, if they consistently run the football, it's going to open up more in the passing game. So they might not be good at it. Like running 6 run plays, it might get you a total of 20 yards. Like whatever, screw it. But that might bring that safety just 2 yards further down that lets Stephon Diggs get a step on him. Like it is a game of chess, and you were playing it before. And people always say that football's a game of chess, not checkers. Like you can't just always count on people to beat people. Sometimes you're going to have to run the football and win these grind out games. And they ended up turning this into a close game, but it really was not.
Well, and that's where when they started implementing that, when they started running the ball, opening up the playbook more, that you saw the success that they had against, I think, the number 1 rushing team or up there, rushing defense in the league. They put up 80 rushing yards on set running plays with the running backs in a half.
Yeah,
I think they could have won the game if they didn't, or if they started it that way. Now, outcome could have been played out differently. I know that's a hypothetical, but still,
yeah.
And on a crucial game, and then that kind of leads into now to their playoff picture. They're 7-6 with 4 games left. As I said, I still think they'll make the playoffs because they're playing against 3 games against sub 500 teams. They should definitely beat the Panthers and the Jets. And I'm just biased. I guess maybe the Falcons. Maybe there's an outside shot. But now they may win in the division even tougher. They're going to make their first playoff game even tougher. Even though I think if you end up playing the Titans or the Ravens, I think they got a good shot to beat them because both those teams are not who they were from earlier in the season. But just kind of one final thought, because really the Buccaneers, if they haven't clinched the division yet, they theoretically have. So now they're just trying to figure out where they're going to be on the first and the top 4 seeding. But the Bills, what would you like to see from the Bills going down the road while they just to see them make the playoffs? Because everyone thought they'd
like to see. I think they should do
both. Let's do both.
Well, okay, so as a Patriots fan, I hope they go into Foxborough and lay another egg. Uh, like, as a Patriots fan, what they should do is they need to go back to the drawing board. Brian Dabble needs to be more creative. Even if he's not going to run it with running backs, just do things to make the defense have to fear the run and have to play at the line of scrimmage. Because having Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis and Emmanuel Sanders are great. But without running the football, you're letting these DBs wait for them at spots instead of having to come up and actually play them and play physical. So I think the Bills really need to go back to the drawing board, make teams play close to the line of scrimmage, and I think that's really when they're going to get these deeper plays. And they do 3 out of the next 4 games for them are really easy. The Bills, I don't care what people say, the Bills have had a really easy schedule this season, and they just haven't quite lived up to our expectation of them. So I think there's going to be a new look next week of the Buffalo Bills, and so what about you? What do you think that's an accurate assumption?
I agree. I mean, I think they might have maybe found some confidence in the second half of that game, even though they didn't pull it out. But like, hey, we just one of the best teams in the league, put up 24 points in a half on them by opening up the running game, doing that. I think that's something that they'll implement. I think doing it against the Panthers would be a good start, because I think that they will win that game and be good practice for them, especially when they go and play your Patriots, because they're going to need that. And in that game is have a balanced offense.
Mm-hmm. That's the Bills in the AFC East playoff picture. That losing this game made it a lot harder for them. One of the things I do want to say too, I don't want to take credit away from the Bills because their running game did look good in the second half. However, at that point in the game, Tampa Bay's defense, you could kind of see, was going back into like this shell where they were just trying to keep everything in front of them. So I don't think their priority was necessarily on completely stopping the run at that point. Being up 21 points, that may have been an attitude, but I will give the Bills credit. They did run the football pretty well against the number 1 rushing defense in the league. So, but other than that, I don't have too much else to add. Are you good?
I'm good.
All right. So that's going to wrap it up right here for this episode of the Tracy Take. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. Tyler and I have a goal of hitting 300 subscribers by the end of the year. That'd be a really good Christmas present for us, and we would really appreciate it. So please help us have a fun Christmas, and we will see you guys next time.